1 2 1 2 1 2.
Mike. All right. Ready, set.
I'm not shining, am I shining?
Nah, not really. I'm good.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, mic check. More the Masters podcast. Y'all's made of course. I got a special guest across from me. I got the 2024 podcast of the year from the IJ Awards. Got Mr. John D. Milton in here. How you doing, man?
Hey man, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing great. I'm doing great. Want to start off with a congratulations, of course. I think it's always dope when hard work pays off. I seen when I noticed that when I seen you won, I actually went and kind of did my research and things like that, and I seen that you were super consistent. I think that's one thing I always like. Anybody, whether you're in the same field as me, opposite field of me, I always just respect and I appreciate and I admire consistency. And when I went and seen the consistency, then I started looking at the guests, and then I started, to do my research. And that's why back in, I think, maybe March, February, I might have reached out to Karen and said, yo, put me in with him.
Right.
But like I said, I know our schedules, I'm a creator, so I know you as a creator, a schedule just don't align sometimes.
Right.
But so, yeah, congratulations to you, man. I think it's dope. One of the dopest things is that I always try to highlight the winner, whoever wins, whether it's me or somebody else, I always try to highlight them. And it's the first time somebody's from the city actually won, so I can actually meet them and talk and talk in person. So definitely shout out to you, man. What you want to go by? John D. Milton? Like I'm saying your whole name, I don't know.
You can just
Mr.
call me
Milton?
John, whatever cool.
John, okay.
If I tell you my nickname, you'd be laughing all day.
What's your nickname, man?
No, Lord. No, Lord. They'll be laughing at me every time they see me in the store.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
all right.
so,
well,
but also let me congratulate you.
Appreciate you.
You've done a lot of things in the city, been doing your thing for a long time. And
Thank you.
And big ups to what you got going on, because again, what you're doing is consistency too.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, definitely congratulations what you got going on. So much love to that.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And if y'all don't know, like I said, you go follow on Facebook, Barbershop Live on Facebook, or just go follow your page. You share from your page a lot of times too. So John D. Milton on Facebook as well. But I'll get more into that in a second. We'll probably go back and forth, but I want to kind of get into, who you are. That's how I do on More Than Master. I try to highlight people and entities and businesses and things of that nature. So let's start from here. So, where you from? Like, how'd you...
Well, I always try to let everybody know where I'm from. I'm from a big little town called Waycross, Georgia.
Waycross, Georgia.
Waycross, Georgia.
So are you saying like you way across Georgia, or
no, it's called Waycross.
Okay.
W-A-Y.
Waycross.
W-A-C-R-O-S-S.
Don't they have like a fair there or something? Oh no, is it like a fair that be going? I might be at the wrong city.
A little bit of everything going on down there. It's my big little hometown. I'm proud of it. Tell everybody to get a chance to go down there and see the city, see the people. Just enjoy the area down there. Again, that's my big little hometown.
Got you.
Not too big, not too small. Good place to go visit.
So, talk about that a little bit. Like what was your upbringing like though? And being from Waycross, like how'd you grow up? Would you have siblings? You the oldest, youngest? You got your parents, 2-parent household, 1-parent household. Like what would that look like for you?
Well, we had a 1-parent household. My mom, she did all she could. She did everything she did to the best of her abilities. My grandma was right there beside her. It's 4 of us. It's 3 boys, 1 girl. I'm next to the oldest.
Okay.
Grew up in the projects. It was called Baylor Heights back in those days. No longer exists now, but it was definitely a good upbringing, because when you live in the projects, everybody know everybody. Everybody get a chance to see everybody. Brothers and sisters of the other families grew up. It's a common bond that everybody just stick together. And anybody that come in the projects, outside of the project, the people that live in the projects going to protect the projects.
Hey man, you talking now? I like that.
Yeah, so it was a whole lot of togetherness, and you just love to be. You say you're from Baylor Heights, you're from Baylor Heights.
Okay,
it was a good place, a good time to grow up. So it was a lot of love in that projects. A lot of encouragement. People see you down, they encourage you, they motivate you. Try to make you be your best. And also, with the church we attended back home, the church is called Mount Zion AME Church. AME Church, so it's the same way. You go to church every Sunday. So it was a time where you go to church, all the teachers go to your church. All the people that work at the gas station.
Oh, it's that kind of small town.
Yeah, everybody know everybody. And it was just a good upbringing. And you could be somewhere around town and you do something wrong, the teachers see you, they're gonna tell your mama. It was just that good upbringing. Didn't like it back then, but you appreciate it now. You appreciate what people did for you and how they try to, get you in the right frame of mind, make sure you don't make the mistakes, you don't do jail time. It was just a good upbringing, and that's how I try to raise my kids now.
Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So just if you don't mind, talk a little bit about, like you said, I know one parent household. So talk about that dynamic and what that was like just inside the household. Like, what was your role? What was your mom's role? Like, what's some things you've seen that you feel like, oh, it kind of helped you seeing that, or it kind of
Right.
helped you when you got older that you saw that you maybe didn't like, or
Right. Well, being in a one parent household, you don't know. Well, I will say this: the way we grew up, we didn't know we was poor. We didn't
Mm.
know, the bean and the weenies was a delicacy. So when we ate, we all ate at the same time. We all prayed at the same time. It was mandatory that you don't eat before you pray over the food, stuff like that. So growing up in those days, um, certain time of the day, the street lights come on, you in the house, you can be way around the corner. Them lights get to flickering, you better be on the road back to the house. So the one parent household, and there was a lot of times where we didn't have enough. Sometimes this might get cut off, that might get cut off. Wasn't enough food in the house. So my mom took it upon herself to go to Western Auto. And I know we don't have Western Auto around now, but she took Western Auto, came back with a lawnmower and gave me the lawnmower and say, you go make your own money. You go use whatever you got to do. You can't sit up in this house. You got to do stuff for yourself. So she gave me that drive, gave me that unction to go out and do for myself. And I was going around cutting grass for a living. Cutting grass, going to what they call the so-called rich side of town. You go to the rich side of town, cut the white folks' grass, make your money. And that's how I was making the money to cut grass to buy my school clothes. And she also told me that I was responsible for paying the cable bill. I got to pay the cable bill.
How old? How old were you? How old were you?
Might have been 15, 16 years old.
Okay.
Responsible for paying the cable bill, which was $19.99. Jones Intercable.
Times and change.
Yes, I had to pay the cable bill no matter what because, again, we always watch TV.
Yeah.
So when my mom was at work, she come home, we watching all the different TV shows and all that, which was back then, it was the Good Times, the Jeffersons and all those kind of shows like that. And when she come home, she see we ain't finished washing the dishes, but we still watching TV. Turn off the TV, you wash the dishes, get this house clean, all that kind of stuff. So my responsibility was to make sure I paid the cable bill. And the cable bill was on the way on the other side of town. No matter how you get there, you pay that cable bill.
So real quick, I want to go back to something you said. You said Western Auto. So just, I like to kind of get history. So
Okay.
It probably don't exist. I never heard of it. So what kind of stores, what did they sell besides like lawnmowers? Like, what was this kind of
Western Auto
stores?
was like a small time Walmart now. But it was
Okay.
more of a auto parts store, lawnmowers. You can get your car fixed, like an automobile mechanic spot, oil, boom radio, the little boom boxes we used to wear back use back in those days. So Western Auto was a good little store that everybody shop at. Again, you want to buy oil for your car, tools, get your tires rotated, get your car fixed. It was called Western Auto. Again, that was back in the mid 70s,
Got you.
late 80s, something like that. So they don't even exist no more now.
Okay.
But that was a place to go to back then.
So if you can, like, tell me a little bit about, like, all right, so I know you said, your household and your mom, she gave you this mower and all these things, but like going a little further back before you hit the 15 though, like what kind of kid were you? Like, I know some kids, they ask a lot of questions,
Right.
they fidgety, they touch things, they
Right.
can't sit down. Like
Right.
maybe they just they're mischievous and all that stuff. Like, what kind of kid were you?
All of that and above. Because I was the energetic type kid. Couldn't sit still. I got to be doing something. I mean, I'm that way now. I'm to the point now. If I ain't doing something, I'm pretty much taking a nap because
Okay.
my energy level is so high. I got to be moving. I played the drums, so I played the drums. So I could remember at an early age, probably 3, 4 years old, I was playing. I always played the drums. So one time at the junior high school back home, I went in my mama's kitchen and got some pots and pans. And where we lived at, there was the junior high school was out there playing, the marching band was out there practicing. So I went in the kitchen again, got the pots and pans. You remember the big old wooden sticks that you
Yeah.
I used to got the forks and the spoon, got them off the wall, went outside with my pots and pans, got on the side of the street and started playing the drums at the same thing that the band was playing. So I always been a musical guy playing the music, but I stuck to the drums. So when my mama come home and see me out there with her spoon and her pots and pans, playing on the side of the road. She got on to me real good, and it was just like a crazy. So I did it that day, came back and did it another day. So I was always never was a bad kid, but I was always into stuff, always energetic, moving, doing things. So I stayed busy. I mean, as I am now, I stay busy now. So if you see me now, you see me back then.
So, like, I know you said you played the drums and stuff. Like, was that come from coming up in church? You learned how to do it from church, or you just kind of had a knack for like
I think
music
I
and
just had a
stuff?
knack for it. I
Okay.
think I had a knack for it. I was in the band for, I think I stopped in the band about ninth grade, 10th grade, something like that. And I wish I would have kept playing the drums. That was my heart. I still love the drums now. I got a drum set at the barbershop, but I kick around every now and then. So I love the drums. When I hear music, I don't hear nothing but the drums. So that was and I thank God I was born with it. I ended up got in the band and learned how to read the music and stuff like that. But I just I love music.
Aside from like what you just mentioned, like, how would your siblings describe you? From the younger one to the oldest to
They
the.
were probably describe me as the go getter. You can always depend on John to go do this. John gonna do that. I almost called my nickname. I almost said my nickname.
You gonna get it out you
I
before it's
almost
over.
said my nickname, but they can always depend on me to do this. If it's some kind of whatever we got going on, John gonna be there on time. He gonna be there to make it happen. That's just me. So it was like if y'all want to do something for us, the reunions and the parties and all that, you know, set a date, I'll go out there and make it happen. And I always been like that from day one to where I'm at now.
So I know you said you grew up single household, but your grandmother helped out a lot. Did you ever know who your dad was? And if so, what kind of relationship did y'all have?
Well, the funny thing about that, I didn't. I met my dad when I was 8 years old. I met him when I was 8 years old, and the last time I seen him was this year. So from eight to I saw him this past January. So 40 plus years had done passed, and I just saw him this past January
Oh, so okay, so you seen your dad twice in your life,
twice.
and
Right. So
it happened to be when you was 8. Whatever.
the first time was when I was 8 years old. That's the first time I saw him when I was 8. Second time was this past January. Martin Luther King birthday. We was in Savannah. I got the phone call from him saying he wasn't doing too good. He called me and say stuff happening and his health is failing. He don't know how long he got to live. Just he want to make amends. He want to get in contact with me and just say he's sorry for whatever he feel that he was sorry for. And so I got a little kind heart. I said, okay, well I'm gonna ride down here and see the guy. Told my wife I want to go see him, and he was in Miami, still in Miami now. So we was in Savannah. So my wife said, you want to go to Miami? I said, yeah, I'm gonna ride to Miami. The guy called me out of the blue
Hmm.
telling me that his health is failing and he don't know if his time is up, but he want to make amends with me. So I said, okay, if he felt the need to call me, I feel the need to go see him. So we rode down to Miami, and when we got into the hospital room, me and my brother went. So when we got down there to go see him, the nurse said that there's a visitor here to see you. He said, who come to see me? Don't nobody know me down here. Who's come to see me? So the nurse said, well, you got a visitor. So when you come out the bathroom, visitor, he'll be here. So when he come out the bathroom, the nurse helped him out the bathroom. And so when he got into the bed, then I come into the room and I said, well, the nurse said, well, here's your visitor right here. Now remember, he ain't seen me since he was 8 years old.
Mm.
So when the nurse said, here's your visitor, I come in the room, I looked at him. He said, sir, who are you? You come to see me?
Mm.
And I said, yeah. He said, well, I don't know who you are. You sure you come to see the right person? Are you in the right room? I said, yeah, I'm coming to see you. So he kept on saying, I don't know who you are, sir. You sure you're in the right room? So I walked up a little closer to the bed where he was at, and I kind of got in the light where he can see my face. And he still did say, I don't know who you are, sir. I said, I am John Milton. And from that point on, he just lost it. Just started crying, bawling up, just
Mm.
like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know, John, I'm sorry. I said, well, that's cool, we good. I say, you called me saying, you're on your deathbed, and the way you sounded, you don't know if you're gonna live today or tomorrow, so something told me to come all the way down here to see you. I said, here I am. And the whole time, he was steady telling me he's sorry and all this stuff, and it goes back to the point where he wanted to do, years ago, to do a DNA test to make sure. I said, well, first of all, I'm not even here for no DNA test. I'm here because you called me and I felt the need to come see you. Again, whatever happened between you and my mom, I had anything to do with that, but I'm here to see you. because you assuming that this is it. This your time is up. So here I am. And the whole time, I'm sorry, John. I didn't mean, John. I'm sorry, John. Okay, cool. We ain't gonna do all that. We ain't finna
Yeah,
get
yeah.
He wanted to get the nurse to go and do the test then. I said, no, I ain't come for no test. I just come to see you.
What about your brother? Like, what was his vibe?
Well, his reaction was just like seeing what's going on. He's sitting next to the bed and
'Cause
just
that's both of y'all's dad, right?
no,
Just yours?
Yeah, just mine.
Okay, wow. Okay.
Two different dads. Yeah. So he was just my brother, just like, oh, hey, I don't know what's going on. He just taking it all in. And again, I was to the point where I'm. It's almost like I didn't have any emotions. I didn't feel nothing. It's like, oh, my dad. I didn't feel none of that kind of stuff. To me, it was just a guy laying in the bed, just somebody that's he just there. So it was just like, okay, I'm coming to see you. He all bawling, crying, and all that. I didn't have no emotions, and I say, look, I'm gonna be leaving in a few hours. I got to get back to Georgia, so let's shake hands, hug, whatever, take a few pictures. I'm back on the road. So again, no emotions. I didn't feel nothing. And I tell everybody that I talk to that's in the family. I say, if anything happens to him, okay, don't look for me to be all crying and if you want to put me in the obituary, you can put me in the obituary, but I don't feel nothing. From 8 years old to I'm 54 now.
Well, I know you described the 50. That's a long time. Jesus
That's a long
Christ.
time.
I did the math in my head. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Ooh.
So I mean, for you to, I was shocked that he called me. Well, he didn't really call me. He called my wife, and my wife gave me the phone. So then we started talking, and he was just like real emotional on the phone. At first, I had to figure out like, who is this? He told me. I said, okay, all right. So
Just on a tangent, I want to stay here for a second.
Okay.
Can you describe, if you remember at all, what it was like meeting him when you were 8?
When I was 8, when I first met him, my mom told me that my dad want to see me. I said, okay. So
This is in Waycross.
This in Waycross.
Gotcha.
So when at the time his wife came to our house, well, to the projects, and picked me up from the projects and took me to his mom's house. And so, as you know, remember I'm 8 years old. So what got me was they took me to his mom's house and had this big old bowl of cheese grits and catfish. I never forget, it was catfish. So at the time, his wife literally took all the bones out of the fish. Just pretty much dewormed. Took the fish and broke it apart and made sure I ate the fish without the bones in it and everything. Took the tail off the fish. Pretty much spoon fed me the whole time I was sitting there, and I was just having fun eating the food. But she was telling me, your what she call it? Well, I guess my stepmom.
Yeah.
Telling me all that type stuff, and I met his parents, granddad and grandma. I met all those folks in there, and again at 8 years old, I'm just eating cheese grits.
You're just enjoying the food.
I'm enjoying the food. I'm eating cheese grits and catfish and brim and everything else we had in there. So I'm like, all right, cool. All right, hey mama, hey granddaddy. I'm eating grits. Hey, so the emotions that I felt at the time, I didn't have none. So I remember when we left out that particular day to come back home, he gave my mom, I never forget, he gave my mom an envelope. It was a white envelope. And when we got back to the house, it was a $50 money order. It was a money order for $50. And my mom didn't cash that thing. I don't even think she cashed it to this day. The one time I did go home, and back then we used to have these big old huge Bibles. And the Bible, we keep the birth certificates and Social Security cards, all this kind of stuff in the Bible. That was a safe place to keep all this stuff back then. And I remember seeing that money order in the Bible. So for years, I don't think she ever cashed the money order. So when we get back to the house and he gave my mom the $50 money order, again, no emotion, no, none of that kind of stuff. So from 8 years old to this past January, and now, Bobby, there were times where when I left Waycross, came to Augusta, there were times that I was pursuing him. I was calling him, checking up on him, doing all the different, making sure we get some type of relationship. And it was still a drop off.
This is older you now.
This as I got older.
But you here living in Augusta, but you're just trying to check in with your dad.
Yeah, because I was, You'll be amazed what kind of, now, well, first of all, the kind of work I do, I'm a full licensed, full-time barber. Been doing hair going on 30 years. I've been cutting hair. And I didn't know till I got older what kind of work he does. Now, the kind of work he does is a full-time licensed beautician.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know that. So he's a licensed beautician in Miami. Been doing it for years. I'm a full-time barber, been cutting hair for years.
And neither one, and y'all don't know nothing about what either one.
Didn't know nothing about nothing.
That's wild.
Didn't know he does hair, didn't know none of that.
Hey, genetics is crazy.
It's crazy. You know,
genetics are crazy.
And it got so crazy to the point where when I moved to Augusta, I came to Augusta to go to Payne College. So when I came to Augusta to go to Payne College, I still was, talking to my mom and trying to figure out how can I reach in contact with him, how can I whatever. My mom was like, I don't know, you need to call such and such, call such and such. So I was calling these different persons and they gave me his information. So I was calling him. I called down to Miami, and when I called to Miami, it was at his shop. Called the shop, talked to him for a few minutes. Hey, man, what's going on? I said, hey, man, I'm just checking in, see how you doing. And, I don't want nothing. I ain't trying to get no child support. I ain't trying to go throw the football with you. I just want to see how you're doing.
Throw the football.
You know what I'm saying? So it was I mean, I'm a grown man at this point,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't want no back pay. I just want to have a relationship.
I just have to ask you. So
Okay.
you want to relationship, but what from that and why? Like what was going on in your life? You feel like, or you wanted to kind of have that relationship?
Sometimes when you get older and you start seeing other people, you start seeing your friends, again, going back to a single parent household, and you might see a movie, you might see your friends that have two parents in the house, and you'd be like, well, I don't, somebody might say, well, how your daddy doing? I said, well, yeah, all right, I guess. So over time, you want to see, well, if you think he's still living, let's check and see how's he doing. How's he living? Where has he got going on? So those are some of the reasons why I did check in, call, ask people about him, stuff like that. And so once we started making some type of contact, I was calling. So I got the right number, I called, and there was a many times when I did get him on the phone and talk with him. And remember, this is at his shop in Miami. So when I was talking to him on the phone, he was always busy. When he's busy, he's doing somebody's hair. He's curling hair, he's shampooing somebody's hair. There's a lot that he got going on. And so me being in the business, I can understand that. I said, okay, well, you got somebody's hair, you got the cut, call me later. You got somebody's hair, you got the curl, call me later. You got the shampoo, call me later. I understand. I'm in the business together with you, so I know how it is. So give me your number. Gave me a number, and this went on for weeks, went on for months. I didn't get no return. No call back. I said, well, okay, he did get busy. I understand. A lot going on. Let me call him back. So I called him back, and with the same thing. Man, I got the lady in the dryer. I got the lady in shampoo. I got the lady to put a perm in the head. Can I call you back? Cool, call me back. Never got to call back. And what happened was, there was one time where we ended up talking probably about 30 minutes on the phone. And I felt good about that 30-minute conversation. Because again, all the other conversations was 2 minutes here, 1 minute there, hardly no conversation. So now when we got the 30-minute conversation on the phone, you know what he said?
What's that?
He said, John, whenever you go back to Waycross, let me know. I said, okay, I go down all the time to the football games and I go back, check on mama and all that. He said, yeah, I know, but whenever you go back to Waycross, let me know because I want to be down there when you go down there and I want me, you, and your mama to get together. So when all three of us get together, I want to do a DNA test.
Oh, man.
I said, hold up. You want to do a who, a what, a when, what? Man, look, I'm telling you, just let me know when you go down there. I want to do it. I said, hold on, man. I ain't seen you since I was 8 years old. The word on the street is you my daddy. My mama say you my daddy. Everybody I know say you my daddy. You ain't did nothing but $50. Now all of a sudden you wanna get a DNA test? I say, you know what? Don't worry about it. Don't even call me. I won't call you. We good. So for years, I stopped calling. I'm done. You ain't got to, you don't, where that come from?
Yeah.
A DNA test? You ain't called me at all. I'm doing all the calling. Don't worry about it, calling me. I'm good. I'm good. Here's the crazy part about it now, Bobby. For years, no conversation, no tracking him down, none of that. I'm good because you want to do a DNA. So years passed, I got a phone call. Well, I kept getting phone calls from unrecognizable numbers. I didn't know who these people were that kept calling me, these funny looking numbers on the phone. So I said, okay, I ain't gonna answer the phone. I ain't gonna answer the phone. And this was happening on a regular basis. So all of a sudden, there was a voicemail. The voicemail said, John, this is your sister. Call me back when you get a chance. My sister, I ain't got but one sister. I know my sister.
Yeah.
So I said, look, okay, let me see what this is. Called the number back. That's his daughter calling me. So when I realized who she was and we started talking, she said, John, all these years I never knew about you.
Oh, wow.
I always thought I was the oldest, but apparently you exist. I never knew that you exist. So somebody told me to call and check up on you and found out that you exist. So I didn't know that daddy had another child. I said, huh? So I'm like, well, hold on, where you at? Who is you? So she told me who she was, lives in Macon, Georgia, all these years. So I didn't never knew nothing about the other kids as time go on. So when she called and contact me, I like, okay, well let's keep this conversation going. Let's get to know each other a little better. She came to Augusta with her daughter to visit me. We spent the weekend. We went to church, had a good time and all that. And to this day, she don't really have a great relationship with him because I don't know where he come from with the mindset that he has. So it's almost like she pulling teeth just to get a relationship with him.
Yeah.
Now they do have a relationship, definitely better than I have, So it's to the point where I don't know where it coming from, and it's maybe just his upbringing. I'm not sure.
Do you, this is just curious out of curiosity at this point, but like, is it that the sister that called you, is that from the wife that took the bones out the fish for you?
No, that's from another wife.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, he lived the life.
Yeah, he lived the life.
Yeah,
Lived the life. And again, like I say, he wanted to, I guess as he so-called was on his deathbed, make amends and all this stuff that he felt he didn't do right. Felt he should have been a better father, better dad. So and also it comes back to me where I'm at now in my life. I have 3 kids. I have 2 grandkids. And I make sure that my kids can have some type of relationship with me, regardless. If you feel you need to talk to me about anything, whatever you think you're going through, your dad is always here because I wanted to not have that relationship that I didn't get with with my father.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to get with my kids. I want to make sure my kids know I'm here. It ain't got to be all about money. I'm present. And
Yeah.
I just try to make sure I do that. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job on it. And that's when I look back and see how he is and what he didn't do. I can't worry about that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. I was going to ask you like, first before I get into that, I want to ask you like, what did your mom think, or how did she feel about you even wanting to have a relationship with your dad? Like, was she for it? Was she like, I don't know why you can't? Like, did it bother her? Because she had been doing it all.
Right. She was kind of like, it's on you. It's on you. You wanna try to reach out to him. I ain't got nothing against that. You want to try a relationship, that's on you and him. Because again, from what my mom was telling me, she did all she can. And now it's to the point where all that she been trying to work the relationship without him and her, didn't work out, and he go off and leave her and all that kind of stuff. So she really didn't say don't do it. She didn't say go do it. She said if that's what you feel you need to do, pursue that, that.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool. So,
But I guess too, how was it like being in a small town where everybody know everybody? So I'm just assuming now people knew who your dad was just
Right.
because it's a small town, right?
Right.
Hey, what's the word they used back? Oh, he's sweet on her. That's those old sayings, right?
Right.
I know a little
Right.
sometimes, but just the little sayings, and so people might see it. People interact. Okay, might get pregnant. Oh, this must be such and such,
Right.
such and such child. So what is that like for you, being in an area or being in an environment where you haven't seen your dad until you was 8, and then not again at all until you get older? But you're in an environment where everybody seems to know your dad. They know he exists. They know him or of him, see him, but you don't. So are you hearing those things like, I know your daddy, or like, oh, what's up, man? I know your mom, I know your dad. Like, and when you do hear those things, how did that make you feel?
Well, sometimes it'll give you a funny vibe because, as we growing up back in those days, everybody had the mama jokes, everybody had the daddy jokes, all that kind of stuff. Your daddy ain't around, all that type stuff. So sometimes it kind of get on your nerve and kind of, make you feel funny because it's you. So again, there was a few people that grew up with where they was in both parent households. So that was a different feel, and I didn't have that fitting. So I didn't have like I say, nobody to throw the ball with, nobody I can talk with, nobody to go walk with, So mom had to work all the hours at the job. She had to, work late, come home early, overtime. So a lot of time it was me and my brothers to fend for ourselves until she get home. But we knew we couldn't get too far out the pocket while she's not home. But again, the feeling of not having that daddy around, I didn't know that. I didn't know that strength. I didn't know that security because it wasn't there. And even for him, not to even come by every now and then. Not even though that, like I said, we all had different daddies, but not to even just pop in every so often, just to check on us. Where I am now with my kids, they all grown now. But when I had kids that were younger, I go to the school 3 or 4 times a week. It was on a consistent basis. I go to all the classes, and it was to the point when I go to the school to check on my kids, I didn't need a hall pass. I didn't need a permission to go to the class because I was that parent. I was that parent. No matter what going on, I'll just pop in the classroom. I just pop up to the school because again, I was remembering how I didn't have it, and I was knowing how I didn't have it. So I don't want my kids to not grow up with somebody showing that I care for my child. I care for all the kids. So I'm gonna show you I care for you because I'm gonna be present. I'm gonna be talking. I'm gonna be giving. I'm gonna be loving. I'm gonna do all that. So for the stuff that I didn't get, I'm gonna give it to those kids of mine. And I just noticed. I mean, like I say, even if he could have showed up every now and then, that'd have been enough. But not show up at all.
Yeah.
And everybody say when you're younger, you always say about the guy go out and get a loaf of bread and you come back get. I'm like, what kind of bread you going to get? So it just kind of
the bread in Miami, man.
Yeah, that's bread in Miami.
So you go through the motions, go through life. So at 15, 16, you start working. Your mom, get this mower in your hand, so she put that battery in your back to go ahead. Which normally, not saying moms don't normally do it, but you see it in within your dad. Your dad's the worker. You see that. Oh, okay, this is what you're supposed to do. So it kind of is your first idea of like I'm gonna be working when I get older.
Right.
But your mom put that battery in your back. She put the mower in your hands, and she put the responsibility in your hands.
Right.
You're gonna pay the cable bill to kind of give you a sense of responsibility early on, right? So, schooling wise, you finished high school. You finished.
Yeah.
So you said you came down here in Augusta to go to Payne.
Yeah, I came to Augusta to go to Payne College.
What made you pick Payne out of all the schools?
That's a funny story because when I was graduating, a good friend of mine, Elwood, came back home and he was already in Augusta. And the crazy part about it, Waycross is, again, it's a big little small town in my opinion. We all grew up knowing about Atlanta. We all grew up knowing about Savannah. We all grew up knowing about Albany, even Macon. I'd never heard of Augusta, Georgia before. Never heard of Augusta, Georgia. Didn't even see it on the map. Again, we Atlanta, Savannah.
All right.
I mean, if you told me about Augusta back then, I was like, Augusta,
Yo, you
what?
gotta chill.
It wasn't even, back home, about, again, Savannah, Jacksonville, Florida, and Tallahassee and all those places. So when he came home for, I guess, a Christmas break or whatever it was, he said, man, what you gonna do when you graduate? I said, well, at the time, I'm gonna go in the military. I'm gonna try to take my, military, go in the Army and do 20 years and retire. So Edward said, come to Augusta. I said, Augusta, where that's at? He said, Augusta, Georgia, man. I ain't never heard that before. I said, okay, what they do in Augusta? He said, I'm at Payne College. I've been here about a year, almost 2 years. And I didn't know because he graduated a couple of years before I did. So again, he said, come to Augusta, go to Payne College. And he said, what we're doing in Augusta is a whole lot different than what we're doing in Waycross. I said, what y'all doing? He said, first of all, it's 10 girls to one guy. So I said, all right, let's go, man. Let's run it. So he said 10 girls to one guy, and he had them been here so long that he got the whole campus on lock. I said, oh, yeah? I said, well, what I got to do? I ain't really thought about going to college. What I do next? He said, man, I get you into college. All you got to do is say you want to go. I said, okay, tell me what I got to do. Take the test. Once you pass the test, they're going to give you an acceptance letter. Come on in, and I got the rest done from there. I said, all right. Took the test, passed the test, came on up. I got the acceptance letter, got to Payne College. That first week of college, that's the freshman week. And just like he said, 10 girls to one guy. 10 girls to one guy. And they was coming from Miami, New York, the Bahamas. They was from everywhere. California, the girls from everywhere. 10 girls to one guy. I said, ooh, Lord, okay.
It's funny hearing that story because it's the girls that got you, but Payne is an HBCU. It's so many different things you can think about. Right? It was like, nah, it's 10 to 1, man.
10 to 1. That's what he said. I said, I'm down. Sign me up. And as truth to hold, when we got to Augusta, it was 10 girls to one guy, and everybody knew Edward. Everybody knew Edward. And he literally walked me around the campus, introducing me to everybody that he knew. Hey, this my
dope.
boy John from Waycross, man. Y'all look out for my boy, man. This my boy, this my boy. So when I started meeting all these folks, and Edward again knew everybody, and he had a couple dollars. I had a couple dollars when I came to Augusta. So we ended up being the loan sharks on campus.
Loan sharks is crazy. Let's get loan sharks. What y'all loaning?
We loaning out money. We giving out money. So what we did, because if you were in college and you're a long way from home, you got to wait till your parents send you money because most people ain't have no job, stuff like that. So whatever you need to buy a book, whatever you need to buy some food, buy some clothes, whatever you need. And if the parents didn't send you the money by a certain time, you need to find the money some kind of way. So we started being the loan shark on campus. It was all right, look at, we give you $50, we need 75 back. Give you $50, we need 65 back. Whatever we was doing, so we became the loan sharks. And as time went by and the word got around campus, some of the teachers needed money.
Oh wow, this is the teachers needed
some
money.
Of the teachers needed money because they get paid once a month. So sometimes they say, well, I heard you, let folks borrow money, when teachers say, okay, well, I need 200, 300. Well, let them borrow the 300, give me 500 back or whatever. I mean, we was literally the loan sharks on campus. And as time went on, we took it a little step further. Because some people didn't pay always what they're supposed to pay back, so we started taking collateral. So if you need money to buy a book, I need them Jordans over there. You need money to buy.
So y'all were rent-a-center before rent-a-center.
Yeah, we rent-a-center before rent-a-center. It was crazy. So I mean, we got to the point where now I'm getting more popular now.
Right.
It was already right here. I'm kind of moving up the ladder where he's at for his popularity. And then what really messed me up, I tell you what messed me up. I forgot that freshman week, just freshman week. I forgot about that. And when I say I forgot about freshman week, it's freshman week. After freshman week, it's time to go to class. It's time to get your books. It's time to study. It's time to work on your major. So freshman week messed me up because freshman week was party every day. It was a party at somebody's house, at somewhere on the campus. It was a party the whole freshman week. Now, after the freshman week, it's time to go to work. I'm like, well, I thought we come to party. This a party school, ain't it? Who said we got to go to work? So it just got, the 10-to-1, the parties, the loan sharks, the all this stuff was going on. It was just a whole different world, coming from my big little hometown
right.
to Augusta, Georgia. And what really messed me up again, Augusta has 2 malls at the time, Regency Mall and Augusta Mall. When my hometown, we just got that one flat mall. And come up here, you got escalators in the mall, you got buses running, you got cabs running, you got all this stuff going on in Augusta. Like, oh, wait a minute.
And so if I'm thinking of what I would assume Waycross look like now, I don't know if this is the 90s, early 2000s. I'm assuming like 90s maybe.
Right.
I would assume Waycross must have been a really slower town in the sense of transportation there because even in the 90s, Augusta wasn't a fast town, but you describing it like it's Harlem. To you it's Harlem, like you know what I'm saying?
Right. You're right. And that was a major, shock change, just a major again, my hometown, if you had your own car, or if not, you catch a cab or you walk.
Yeah.
That's how you get you around.
The first time I came to Augusta, I was like in 98, 99, something like that. I came to visit my grandma who I ended up living with later on in life.
Okay.
Came to visit her and I remember it being so slow.
Right.
We took the plane, but it was that airport how I look now ain't how I looked back then.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's the first thing. The second thing, it was so many trees in Augusta because it was gnats everywhere.
Right.
It was just a culture shock. I'm from New York, so it was a culture shock. I'm like, but why is everything moving so slow? So to hear that same era, you talk about like it's moving so fast, it just tell you how different places people are from and how, and even in Augusta, people come from all walks of life. So it's funny hearing you talk about it because like we have the total opposite. But I remember Regency Mall.
Right.
It's funny we talk about it now. I guess I could ask you like, what was your thoughts on Regency Mall? Because I remember going there a few times, and I remember seeing the movie called The Wood. Whenever The Wood came out, I saw that in Augusta. I remember seeing it in Augusta.
Okay.
And I looked at Regency Mall now, and it's just like you would never think it was what it was. If you could describe it, like what was Regency Mall like back then?
Regency Mall back then was the place to be. It was a hangout spot. Again, I was on Payne College campus. After class, we just kind of sit around the room, and after a while, we get in somebody's car. We all get 4 or 5 in the car, and we ride to Regency Mall and literally walk up and down the escalators. walk around different parts of the mall. The store called the Merry-Go-Round. That was a popular spot to go to. The little food court area. You sit out there and just watch the cars going up and down. Like riding around in a circle, just playing the music. It was just a good spot to hang out to. If you was into meeting the girls was there because they want to meet the guys. So
Was it 10-1?
Oh, at the Reason Mall, it might have been 15-1 back then. It was crazy. So again, the Reason Mall was a hangout spot.
Yeah.
And at the time, I guess you can call it the Black Mall. Augusta Mall was the white mall. So you had to, you know where you want to go. If you
Right.
You're looking for certain things, you go to the Black Mall. You're looking for other things, you go to the white mall. But it was just a place to hang out. It was a great spot all night from the time they open up to the time they close.
Right.
If you want to know where somebody at, go see them at the mall.
So what about, and I'm kind of more so getting back into you though, but like what about, so did you finish that Payne? Did you just go there? Did you drop out? Did you graduate? Like, what was that like for you? Because at some point you ended up being a barber, right?
Yes.
So,
well, that's the crazy part about it. I call myself, I did get a PhD.
okay.
I got a PhD at Payne, and it was called Partying Too Much.
Welcome to the morning.
I got a PhD in partying. I was a master, the dean, the whoever in partying because I partied too much. I played around too much. I didn't take it serious at the time. I didn't see tomorrow during the day. It was always and also as time went on, by getting into the loan sharp part of the business, I started selling T-shirts. I started selling neckties. I kept a hustle game going.
Yeah.
There was a guy, everybody know Greg Nice.
Yeah.
The DJ from Augusta.
Yeah.
Everybody know Greg Nice. So me and Greg was on the campus together. Another guy named Kevin Jetta, he was there. And those two was the music guys. So Greg, baddest DJ in town. I give him props right now. Greg still do his thing. So Greg and Jetta used to do the parties. Used to do the Payne College parties. So once the parties got real popular, I used to ask him, can I come in and sell different items? Sell like sodas and T-shirts or whatever. They said, all right, cool, man, come on in. So every time they do a party, I'll come out there. 1 or 2 times I make a couple of dollars. Sometimes I didn't make no money. So there's one particular night, it was a big party. They had the Deltas coming over. They just had I think like a 12 line for the Deltas. They came out and I had all my stuff out there. I had sodas, water, chips, cookies, T-shirts. I had everything in there. And I had it set up at the front door so when people come in, they'll see all my setup. They see all the chips, the cookies, the sodas, everything. So the place was packed. It was packed. By so many people in there, you couldn't find a parking spot. It was packed. But I had a problem because I wasn't selling no items. And I was in a position where you had to see my stand to walk in the building. When you walk in the building, you see me first, and then you go in the back, everybody dancing, having fun. So I was upset because the whole time I was there, I wasn't making no money. So I had to figure out what I'm doing wrong. So you know what I did? I went over to the side of the stage by the door, and I saw the thermostat, and I turned the thermostat up to 80 degrees. I turned it up to 80 degrees inside the club. So all of a sudden, now everybody running out the club talking about it's too hot. Give me something to drink. Give me something to eat. So from that point on, all my chips got sold out. All my sodas got sold. I don't know whatever, but even the T-shirts,
had to change the
everything
weather.
sold out. Because now everybody hot. So once they figured out, hey, they can cool off by come give me this cold soda, I was going back to Kroger. Kroger was on 15th Street at the time.
Yeah, remember.
They went back to the Kroger. I had to go back get some more bags of ice, fill up the cooler, get more sodas. Man, I made a killing that night. But again, I always had the hustle game, always had the mentality, I'm a win, I'm gonna take care of business, whatever I need to do. And that's how I was. So making a long story short, I didn't graduate Payne. I didn't graduate. I did take my PhD. I did get a PhD in partying.
Gotcha.
I had a good time doing that. But what happened, and that's why I'm kind of critical about college now. What happened? I didn't take it serious. I didn't see the future in that kind of stuff. So I got on academic probation. They put me on academic probation. A guy named Alfred Powell was the dean at that time, dean of affairs. He called me into the office. He said, Mr. Milton, I don't think we'll be able to stick with you anymore. I think we need you to separate, from you because your grades are so low. We need to put you on academic probation. And I got to the point I didn't know what he was talking about because I was still in shock that he said he gonna do that. And I said, Mr. Powell, give me another chance. I'm from a small town. I wasn't used to all this flash, all these girls, all this party. It was too much for me. I said, well, can you give me another chance? He said, Mr. Milton, we can't do that no more. We gave you a chance and you didn't take advantage of the chance. So we need you to sit out for a semester or two, get yourself together and come back. I'm like, wait a minute, man. I was just playing. I'll take it serious now. Can you come on, man? And he didn't want to hear none of that kind of stuff. So I had to come off the campus, went and got me a little apartment, got a little roommate, saved my money, started getting, taking life serious now because at the time I didn't take it serious at the time.
Right.
And I took life serious and saw that this is a true real world out here. I can't, call my mom all the time and it hurted my mom. It hurted me to call my mom and tell her that I can't go to pain no more. I don't know what the future holds because she was sending me money. And the crazy part about it, I had 2 jobs. I was having so much fun that I couldn't save no money, but I was calling my mom to send me money.
But you was a loan shark.
I was a loan shark.
Yeah,
it was crazy. I was
a lot going on there.
There was a lot going on. So again, when you got to go to an 8 o'clock class in the morning, man, you sleeping the whole time in class because I was out.
Yeah.
I was out. So class was the last thing on my mind. But the good part about it, going to Payne College, I met my wife.
Okay, that's dope.
I met my wife at Payne, and next year, Lord willing, I will be married 30 years.
Okay, they clapping up for y'all, man.
Yeah.
Clapping up for y'all.
We'll be married 30 years. So that's the greatest thing I could accomplish coming from Payne College and met my wife. And that was a crazy situation too. We kind of joke about it every now and then when we start reminiscing about the old days. So 30 years going.
Your kids, y'all with your wife?
Yes.
Okay.
All 3 of the kids from the same person. But I met her and it was fun. It was we always go back and reminisce about those old days. And a true story, let me tell you this. I'm to this day now, if I wasn't with my wife and I was with any other girl, she cannot have no kids. She can already have, little bitty kids or even grown kids. I just had this mentality where if I'm gonna be with that girl, me and that girl gonna have to be together.
Mm-hmm.
So the crazy thing about it, at the time when me and my wife was boyfriend and girlfriend, and she was from a little small town, particular Georgia. So at the time, her parents used to come pick up and take her back home for the weekend. So one day we was sitting out there just talking, and she knew how I am about kids and all that stuff back then. You can't have no kids, you can't have none of that stuff. I ain't with all that. So one day we sitting on the side talking, and she looked at the watch. She said, "Oh, I got to get ready to go because my mom and dad come pick me up." I said, "Okay, what time they come to get you?" She said, "They should be here about an hour." All right. She said, "I got to check on my daughter too because I got her to get on check on my daughter." I said, "Check on your daughter?" Wait a minute. You got a daughter? And I said, "How old your daughter is?" She said, "She 2. I said, 2? You got a 2-year-old daughter? I said, "You know what?" So at that moment, I got up off the little sidewalk and I said, "I got to go. You can't be together no more." She said, "Where you going?" I said, "I told you I don't want nobody that already got some kids." So I got up and started walking away. And I got a good little way down the sidewalk. I'm like, she said, "No, you come on back. I said, "No, I don't want nobody got no kids." I walked away and probably I got a few yards down the street. She said, "I was just playing with you." I said, "I told you can't play like that now." you can't play like that. And I always been like that. I'm just kind of funny. And again, it goes back to my upbringing. It goes back to my upbringing, how I was raised. You say something, you mean what you say what you mean. And I'm just funny like that. So I don't know where that come from. And I think my mom put all that kind of stuff into me, my grandmama, the church family I had back home, they instill those values in you. And, that just stuck with me like that.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's dope. So I guess I'm curious. So at what point you say you take life seriously, you got dropped out, kicked out of school. Obviously, you didn't go back. You was like, right. I'm not going back. So at what point in your life do you say, okay, I'm taking life seriously enough to I'm gonna become a barber?
Right. And that's a good question because what happened,
I try.
Remember I told you that Elwood came home and talking about Payne College, and I was already set on going to the military.
Real quick, did Edward graduate?
Yes, Edward did graduate.
Hey, man, clap it up for Edward, man. Edward, clap it up for Edward, man. Yes, and you can't bring it back with you, man.
Yeah, he did his thing. I got sidetracked and all that, so he did graduate. But when I didn't go in the military, and I came up here and I kind of bummed out with the school and all that kind of stuff, and I said, well, I'm gonna go back to my first love. And going back, even when I was playing the drums, I always had something in me about doing hair. It stayed in me, and I can kind of go back memory wise where that come from. When I was little, my grandmama and my mom used to go to the beautician house named Miss Bostic. And Miss Bostic was the neighborhood beautician. She had a little shop inside her house, and everybody used to go to Miss Bostic's house and get their hair done. So what happened when you go to Miss Bostic's house, she had the dryers, the shampoo bowls, and everything in the house. And all the ladies would be sitting around the room, talking, waiting on their turn to get their hair done. And 90% of the women that was from church or just school, whoever it was. And so as a little kid, all I can remember was that when the ladies get through getting their hair done, they'll pay Miss Bostic. And I could see them exchanging the money. And so I was like, all these women giving Miss Bostic all this money. Didn't know how much it was, but I just keep seeing them exchange money. And we sat there because, you be in the beautician shop all day.
All day.
All day. And I just kept seeing these ladies get out the chair, give Miss Bostic the money. So I just say, I want to do that. I want to do what she doing. And on top of that, we all went to the same church, and Miss Bostic was the coolest lady in church. Every year she had a brand new Cadillac or a brand new Volvo.
I bet she did.
Oh, she was Miss Bostic with Miss Bostic. She had a brand new Cadillac or either a Volvo. And I kept thinking, all this money she's making from doing these ladies' hair, that's how she get the Cadillac or she get the Volvo. So I said, well, I want to do that. I want to do that. So fast forward as time went on, when I didn't finish at Payne and I didn't pursue the military career. Well, I did it 1 or 2 times. I did try to go in the military. That didn't work out. So then I said, let me go back to my first love. I was doing hair. Because when I started doing hair, I said, back home earlier, I was cutting my hair and my brother's hair, but really wasn't taking it serious, just kind of messing around with the clippers and stuff like that. So when the college thing didn't work out, the military thing work out, I said, let me try this hair thing. Let me try to, get into that and see how that worked. Went down to, at the time, Southern Barber College. They was down on 8th Street.
That don't exist no more either, right?
That don't exist no more either.
Yeah, man. You live the life as well, man.
Yes.
You live the life as well.
Yes.
A lot of things not existing, man.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff gone. So I went to Southern Barber College, talked to the lady named Miss Beasley. Mr. and Mrs. Beasley ran the school, went into talk with them, got signed up. And at the time, the haircuts was $3.50.
Wait.
Yes.
A haircut.
Haircut was $3.50. So you can come to the school and get a haircut for $3.50.
And this was black people cutting doing it here?
Yeah, black guys doing hair.
Oh, wow.
And Miss Beasley was the type of instructor, she would make sure you knew everything about hair. Every strand, every polypeptide bonds, every curly bonds, everything about hair. Even the Caucasian hair, the straight hair, she'd make sure you knew everything because she was actually in the class, in the school, making sure.
Mm-hmm.
So she stayed on top of it. Got to be what they call the senior students, because the senior students, they would do more of the hair cutting and more of the theory part of it. So it was, and the crazy thing about it, the school itself, to go to the school, it'll take you 9 months. The total tuition was $850.
Man, times and change.
Times has changed. It was $850 to go to the school. When you cut the person's haircut, again, it was $3.50 for the haircut. And if somebody give you a tip,
it's yours.
It's yours. But what we would do, we'll take the tips and put it on the tuition. So she keep a log book of how much the money you put on your tuition. Okay, you got $2 going towards your tuition. You got $5 going. So that's how we paid our tuition. We didn't have the loans and all the grants and all that kind of stuff back in those days.
They ain't had no loan shark on your campus.
No loans.
Oh man.
None of that.
You ain't called Edward?
No, I didn't call Edward. I should have called Edward. So we did all that. 9 months later, graduated from barber school, went on to take my state board, get my license. And again, like I say, been cutting hair 30 years. I've been I don't probably cut everybody hair in Augusta. I got people now where I've cut kids' hair that's grown,
mm-hmm.
that got married. Now they got kids. I'm cutting the kids' hair. So it's a revolving door of all the people that I done cut over the years. I'm enjoying myself. I'm glad to be in this business because it's a good business to be in. And piggyback on what I'm doing now for is the different events I do, the different people I met. I mean, some people they'll see me be like, man, I remember you cut my grandmama hair, my son hair, my kids hair, all that. I mean, it's sometimes I've been on forgot. But
was there any particular shop like you just stayed in so people know you're from this place, or you just kind of bounced around? You open your own shop?
Well, I had when I come out of barber school, I used to work at this shop called Distinguished Gentleman. It was on Eve Street at the time.
It don't exist no more?
No, it don't exist no more
Oh
either.
my God.
Don't
That's
exist
3
no more.
things now. We got
Yeah.
3 things don't exist now.
Yeah,
we
it don't exist
we
no
gonna get
more.
to 5 before we done.
As a matter of fact, the guy that owned the shop, he don't pass now.
Oh,
So
man.
the shop no longer exists. And I stayed with him. I think I stayed with Nick about 4 years, 3 or 4 years. That was a great experience. Taught me a lot about how the customer service part of it is. Because again, if you're in school, you think that when you graduate school and go to a shop, that the people will follow you.
Mm-hmm.
They will not follow you because they used to paying $3.50.
Right,
They used to paying, the money that you're
yeah.
gonna charge in the barbershop. So I stayed at that particular shop for 3 to 4 years, left that shop, went over to Tobacco Road, worked at Lachelle's Hair Palace. And I stayed over there, I think about another 3 or 4 years. And again, in the hair world business, good things happen, bad things happen, stuff like that. So I ended up taking over the shop. She moved on what she had to do.
That's a good thing or a bad thing? Which one
That's
is
a good
that?
thing.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I ended up taking over the shop. And once I took over the shop, it wasn't like a drop off because people was coming already. Now I'm just the owner of the particular shop now. And again, the business, I just took it to another level, brought in some different barbers, went pretty good. And also, over time, I had 3 shops. I had 3. Nobody knew I had 3. But over time, stuff started happening. Some of the barbers don't want to come to work. Somebody tell you this, so it's got to the point where I just closed all that stuff down, and I just kept the one particular shop up and running, and just been doing it ever since.
And what's that shop? What's the name of it? Where's that?
What I have now?
Yeah.
It's called Jay's Place.
Jay's Place.
Jay's
And
Place.
where is
yeah.
that?
It's at 1927 Olive Road.
1927 Olive Road.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I've been doing that. I've been in that location, oh man, I would say 15 or more years, something like that, maybe a little longer than that. So that's my property.
Got you.
I own that. I'm the sole, me and my wife, the sole ownerships of that particular property. Good corner lot. It's best to be your boss. It's best to be your own boss. It's best to have the ownership of it. And I tell a lot of the barbers that I know now, which I know a lot of these guys around here that are the owners of those shops, own the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Not have it where you own the brand, which is great, but also have it where this is my building, this is my plaza, this is my storefront, this is mine. Because sometimes if you so-called own that particular barbershop, but you don't own the building, the owner can always put you out.
Mm-hmm.
They want to put a fish market there. They want to put a laundromat there. They want to do all these different things. But we always thought this was your shop because you own it. You said you own it, but you don't own it. You just own the business name.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you have the business name and the ownership is over all of this whole block, then one time you get the phone call. You get somebody to come visit. You say, well, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Lewis, we're gonna close up. Like, okay, well, you ain't got time to tell your customers or your clients, what's going on because they just all of a sudden woke up and said, we're gonna do away with all this right here.
What I guess I'm gonna ask a little bit about barber stuff for a minute because I've talked to barbers, but just to get it out there, like what's that business like? From outside looking in,
Mm-hmm.
you know how you saw Miss Bostic
Mm-hmm.
and she was getting all this money,
Right?
That's what I see when I see barbers sometimes. Like
Right.
I see. If I'm especially back to school time, it's like,
Right,
you see all these kids and all these children in here getting cuts, and the mom getting money,
Right,
getting money,
right.
dad getting money. So the barber just is changing
Right.
money. They pull barbers got this thing that they pull all this water cash out right for change, right. And so I'm like, oh, they're making good money. What is that like for a barber? Like, what is the money like for a barber? What is like the lifestyle like for a barber?
Being a barber is good and bad. It's hectic. It's a lot of surprise. And the one thing I can say about being a barber that's surprising is, which is good and it's surprising, you get paid every day. That's good, and it's also bad. It's good and it's bad. So what reason why I say it's good and it's bad because by you getting paid every day for every time somebody get a haircut, they pay you money. You get 10, 20 heads in the day, you got all this money coming in. That's great. But now if you're not a person that can really manage that money, you're not a person that can really sit down and budget that money, you'll blow it. Because in your mind is telling you tomorrow I'm gonna make it back. If you just cut 10 heads a day, and you might be one of the popular barbers in town, you might have one of the busiest shops in town. So your mind said, well, I just cut 10 heads a day. I just made $600-700 a day. Now I can go out here to the club. I can go out here to the liquor store. I can go out to all these different places and blow it. I can bomb out because tomorrow I make it back. I ain't gonna take a big loss. There's almost no hairstyle that you can tell me to cut that I can't cut it. So if you say I want to cut the fade, the high top, whatever you want me to cut, I can cut it. So the cutting is easy. The hard part about being a barber is managing the books. When it's time for taxes, when it's time for insurance, when it's time for license and all that kind of stuff, that's the hard part about it. If you don't have that discipline, because I will admit that sometimes I don't have that discipline. So that's why I thank God my wife is who she is and she's by my side to keep me grounded, to make sure I do keep up with that stuff.
Right.
Because again, itemizing and you know, all those different things go along with being a barber because you self-employed. You got to keep up with all that stuff. You don't have a check where they can take all that stuff out. So being a barber is good and it's bad. And sometimes the barbers love to be flashy.
Yeah.
They love to walk out with the jewelry, the grills, and all that kind of stuff to show the perception. And the perception is, I got it going on, but the reality is you ain't got it going on. So sometimes the perception is most of the barbers, they'll go off that because, again, you working at a popular shop. You're working at a shop that everybody go to. You're working at the shop next to Walmart. You're at the shop next to the Crab Shack. So you're at one of these popular spots and it looked like you got it going on. You might do, but you really don't. So that's a bad and a good thing to have.
But what about like also it's like booth rent and things like that too, right? You got to pay booth rent.
Yeah, you got to pay the booth rent, and that's another thing. Sometimes when you pay the booth rent to the owner of the shop, that's another problem because you as a barber that's cutting the hair and making the money. Now some of the people say, "Well, y'all charge so much for the haircut, man." I remember $350 a haircut. I can remember $10 a haircut. So now going back to the owners of the shop, if the owner don't own the property, the person that own the property, they're gonna go up on the rent of the place. Now that passes on to the owner of the shop. Now he got to pass it on to the barbers of the shop. So sometimes the ownership of it, the booth rent, if you ain't, and then I recommend if you're gonna be a barber, you better at least have a nighttime job starting out. So when I say have a nighttime job, I used to have 11 to 7 job. Work at night, 11 to 7 at night, 7 in the morning. And then during the day, I can cut hair. I can work on passing out flyers, work on passing out cards to build up the clientele to the point where at least I got some money coming in from my night job.
Yeah.
And then the barbershop job, I can kind of, use as extra to get it built up. So most of the barbers that, if you ain't doing that on that level, it's going to be hard to get your clientele. You're going to get frustrated because people ain't coming to you because people, they want to get the best cut for the cheap price. But now if you out here trying to flash and act like you got it going on, you really ain't got it going on. That's why sometimes you'll see barbers go to different shops.
Yeah.
Just be like, man, I thought you was over there. Man, what happened? They would hardly ever tell you the truth. They might throw it off on the owner. Man, he tripping. Well, you got to be able to, fluctuate on that stuff. So that's why sometimes you see barbers at 4 or 5 different shops where they keep switching around all the time.
Well, I know we talk about the business part, but what about like etiquette inside the barbershop? What's that like? What's it like inside the barbershop? What kind of barbershop did you run? Coming up, I've seen bar in New York. I had one barber. I only went to one barber my whole life in New York, and then I came down here and went to one. But in that shop, he had like a piggy bank or something like that, right? So you couldn't curse. You could,
right?
But every time you curse, you had to pay a quarter,
right?
So that was like to kind of stop it, the turn from cursing,
right?
So you had to go around it. But that was like also a theme and joke inside the shop. Oh, you cursed,
right?
So you go put the quarter in there to kind of make light of it, right?
Right.
That was the vibe there. I remember coming in sometimes. He sold CDs inside the barbershop as well.
Right.
Some people sell their own little things inside the barbershop. All this legal stuff, nothing like drugs or anything, but CDs, music, DVDs, things like that back in the early 2000s where that was the thing. And I can go there and I can get some DVDs. They might send me, hey, you got 5 ahead of you. Hey, go get this food for us and get you a plate too. That's the vibe, like kind of like a small hometown kind of vibe, right? What's the vibe or perfect vibe or the vibe you ran in your barbershop?
Same. I grew up in again back in Waycross. That same vibe that I saw when I was going to the barbershop when I was a little kid growing up. George and Joe, they kept the shop that same vibe. You don't come in with that cursing. You're gonna sit down. Ain't no running around in the shop. When it's time for you to get your haircut, you get on up, get in the chair, son. And they look at if you was crying, you didn't want to cry. You wanted to be still, sit still. So as I took some of those values and some of those different traits that I grew up on, I brought it to my shop. I even to the point now, if you come in with your pants hanging off your butt, you ain't getting no haircut. You got to go out, you got to put on the belt, put your pants up. Again, no cursing. Even if you come in with some, like the little radios they playing, I don't want to hear all that cussing in this shop on the music. I don't want to hear all that kind of stuff. You can't be on the phone cussing your girl out on the phone in the shop. Y'all go outside and cuss each other out on the phone. So my vibe is every now and then, and I don't even watch a whole lot of stuff on the TV. So when I'm watching on the TV is one or two things. It's going to either be the Sports Center, the Stock Market Channel, or I'm watching something educational. And I don't want, if you're going to take me to turn the channel to something, and I'll turn it and it's something crazy, nah, we ain't watching all that yet. We ain't, this wrong shop. And I have a motto. My motto is, this is Jay's place. This is Jay's Place Barbershop. So what happens if I'm cutting somebody's hair and you on the phone and somebody call you on the phone and they'll say, the conversation will say, well, man, where you at? And you would say, I'm at the barbershop. I said, no, tell him you at Jay's place. Don't tell him you at the barbershop. Tell him you at Jay's place. And the reason why you at Jay's place is because this is a different spot. This is a different shop. Because there's a lot of barbershops around Augusta. There's a whole lot of there's more barbershops in Augusta than almost churches. So there's a lot of barbershops in Augusta, but there's only one Jay's place. So wherever you at, whoever you on the phone with, you tell them you at Jay's place. Don't tell them you at the barbershop. Because again, we here to do more than just cut hair. We're going to educate you. We're going to motivate you. We're going to inspire you. We're going to teach you. I give out food. I give out free food. I give out school supplies, all of that stuff. Not saying the other barbershops don't do that, but again, this is Jay's place.
That's like that.
Yeah, this is Jay's place.
I like that, man.
So it's a difference. It's a big difference. I mean, that's how I am, you know.
Nah, I like that, man. That's dope, man. So I do want to get into some, like, the barbershop live talk. I'm just curious. You know, when I hear about it, I think it's like common phrase, barbershop talk. Right, if I kind of get the barbershop to kind of lead up to this, right? And so you got Jay's place, okay? Smooth, Jay's place, you know, nice voice, you know, deep voice. What is barbershop live to you? Like how'd you come about it? What made you want to do it? Like, kind of speak about the process of even creating and how'd that came about?
Barbershop Talk Live, I don't know if you can feel the energy when I say that. Barbershop Talk Live. When I say it, I feel like I'm ready to run 10 miles. Barbershop Talk Live I love it. I have the energy for it. And the crazy part about it, it started off as a joke. It started off as a joke. And when I say it started off as a joke, let me tell you how it started. Being in the barbershop, you know, you got your guys over here, you got your guys over there, and you got one guy here come in talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's my team. Another guy come in talking about the Cowboys. I don't like the Cowboys. So when
nobody does.
Nobody like the Cowboys. I hope they lose tonight.
They will.
So here go the Cowboy fan over there, and here go the Pittsburgh Steelers fan over there, and they got a little friendly, heated conversation going on. They going back and forth, talking about the Cowboys, talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it got to the point where now the guys in the chair that's getting a haircut, he talking about the Broncos. So now everybody going back and forth, talking about their team. So it got to the point, it's a friendly, heated conversation. So what I do, I pull out my phone. When I pull out my phone, I started going live, Facebook Live, and record the conversation. So as I'm recording the conversation on Facebook Live, everybody that's watching Facebook Live on my feed, now they're watching this conversation going back and forth because I'm changing the camera around so everybody can see what they're talking about. Yeah. So now the people are chiming in on the Facebook Live. Somebody say, well, I like the Falcons. I like Cleveland Browns. We're going to win, you know. So now the conversation is heated in the shop and the conversation is getting heated online. So I got 100 people watching. So I got 100 people watching this Facebook Live of these guys going back and forth. So it was cool. All right, now that's done. The next week, guess what? Somebody come in talking about Donald Trump. Somebody come in talking about Joe Biden. And I pulled out the phone and I did another heated conversation. So now, as I'm live again, there was a situation where there was exactly 200 people watching. Now we got 200 people watching this live podcast or this live show about Biden and Trump. So then the crazy part about it was, as time went on, more people start watching. Now I got 300 people watching. It was just, the numbers kept going up, right? So here come the kicker. Remember now, all this was a joke. But the crazy part about it was, during the mayor election, there was an election that came around, and Garnett and Stephen Kendrick was running for office.
Yep.
I heard true story. This what happened when they was running for office. Garnett came to me. He said, "Well, how can I get some votes? How can I get more votes to possibly win the election?" I said, "Well, let's try this." You know what I said? Let's have it where you come to the barbershop, you sit in the chair. I'm gonna tell everybody to tune in to the show. When everybody tune into the show, I'm gonna tell everybody to ask you a question. And I want people to come into the barbershop, sit down in the chairs, and ask you any question they want to ask you about this mayor race. And whatever question they ask you, you got to answer the question correctly, no matter what they ask you. If you do that, I think, people will know what you're about, whether they like you or not. Just come in and just try. I said, I ain't promising nobody nothing. So again, we're gonna try it. 2,000 people watched it.
Wow.
2,000 people watched the show.
Wow.
And again, started off as a joke. So what happened, again, now we know the results of that particular election. We see how the results worked out. And so what happened, somebody say, "Well, John, do that again. Just try that again. You do something different." I said, "Okay, we'll do it again." So I did it again. Somebody else watched it again. Somebody else watched it again. So then I said, "Well, let's try to bring some certain people on." So during the time we was doing it again, it was time for the commission races, the different politician races, all these different people. So they was calling me, "Hey, can I come on your show and talk about me running for this position, me running for that position?" I said, "Sure, come on, let's do it. Let's talk about it, have fun, So again, from that first time to now, I'm just having fun with it. And now we got to the point where people of status been coming on, people call me now want to come on. And I say, man, I thank God it's working the way it is. I mean, now we got shirts, we got hats, we got cups, we got merchandise we selling, we got sponsorship packages we selling. Again,
yeah,
so
I seen that.
yeah, it's taking legs now. So for somebody to tell me, how did this come about? My answer is it was a joke. We just playing around, having fun. So when I look at other people like yourself, look at other podcasters, I'm like, man, it must be some professionals because I'm just, I don't know what I'm doing. So I do look at other people to see how to format stuff and how to, take a little ideas from here, take a little ideas from that. And I just, I don't have a format. When you come on, we just have fun. And I just try to, I have a motto. My motto is the people want to know.
The people want to know.
The people want to know. That's my motto. So no matter who's coming on the show, who's the guest, whatever the topic we're talking about, whatever the subject is, which we don't really have a topic or a subject. So whatever we're talking about, I tell the guests, don't tell me none of this stuff. I don't want to hear about it. I almost don't care about it. But the people want to know. The people want to know what's going on. So if you try to be the coroner, you try to be the commissioner, you try to be the mayor, whatever you're trying to be, I don't want to hear that. The people want to hear it. You trying to be the sheriff, tell the people why the crime rate is going to go down. You trying to be the deputy district attorney, tell me why the crime rate is going to go down. Don't tell me because you're trying to get the votes. You're trying to get the support. I'm just a platform for you to do that. So again, my motto is Barbershop Talk Live, the people want to know. Whatever it is you got to tell us, tell it to the people. Don't tell it to me. Yeah, and that's how it is with me. And I try to be truthful to everybody. Again, it's to the point where I'm just having fun with it. Whoever called want Barbershop Talk Live to be your platform, we're here for you.
That's what's up, man. I like that. I think it's always dope when you could do it and have fun with it.
Right,
it makes it more entertaining. It makes it more fluent.
Right.
And it seems real organic. Then
Right.
you're not looking for something.
Right.
You just this is what it is.
This is what it is. This is what it is.
I just asked for you, like for you being in Augusta for a while, even though you're not from here. How would you describe Augusta?
I was describe Augusta as a same as my hometown. It's a big little town. Has a lot of room to go, a lot of potential. Now the only thing I would say about Augusta that kind of might rub the people the wrong way for us newcomers or even people that's here already, Augusta is a clique town. Augusta is a clique town. If you ain't in the clique, God bless you. You better get it the best way you can. And if anybody that's watching and listening to it, they know I'm telling the truth. Augusta has always been that way, and I think over time it's got more that way because you can see some people that should be in a better position where they are. That should be further than where they along where they are. And as I think over time, if and it's not where when I say click, it just you just got to be that in that in that circle. You just got to know and know who to know, stuff like that. Because again, there are some people that might not have no money, might not have the clout, but they're in the clique.
Right.
And if you're in the clique, you're good. So Augusta is a good town to I think it's a good place to raise your kids in. It's not too fast, it's not too slow. And then again, it's kind of centered.
Right.
It's centered, we're from down the road from Savannah, down the road from Atlanta. We right down the road to Florida. So it's a good center town. Again, there's a lot of potential, a lot of growth that can come to happen this way. So I think moving from a big city like a New York or California somewhere, you come to Augusta, you can slow it down. You can really see what's happening. Because some people might say from a big town, we too slow. We don't know what's going on, but we are upon everything. We got knowledge of what's going on. We just don't want all that fast stuff. We just want to slow it down, take it easy, let the life, see what's going on. But I think Augusta has a lot of potential. You can. It's real ideal, holistic place. You bring the right ideas here, the right events here, the right functions here, the right support. Augusta can be a big little town. That's how I see it.
I do got a question.
Okay.
Before you mention, it's not. I'm taking a page out your book. It ain't
Okay.
me, man. The people want to know.
The people want to know.
They want to know
Okay.
when you say a click town, right?
Mhm.
I know what you mean when you say that. One of your guests you had on, shout out to Mario Taylor. He comes to the shop a lot. He got a shop
Okay.
around the corner.
Right.
Does good business. I like Mario. I send a lot of businesses away from what I do in my line of work.
Okay.
But he came in my store the other day and was like, I didn't know about your live show, man. You could have told me about your live show. You're not Mario, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mario, man.
Yeah.
But he said, but I know, man, I'm not in the in crowd. So, and when you said it just now, the first thing I thought was Mario was saying it, because I'm like, what you mean not in the crowd? I posted the show every day. Like, I don't know. I post every day for a month. I posted that live event.
Right.
He said, I ain't see it. Yeah, he could have just told me, da. So we talked here and there, but he mentioned also an in crowd, right? Now, I like Mario's my guy. He's in the crowd. I don't know why. I know what Mario's talking about.
Right.
But how would you know how would you know you're out the crowd? Like what's some signs of, I guess, being out of that in crowd, quote unquote?
Well, I would say one of the ways you know that you're not in the crowd, I would guess you would say you'll know. You'll know, and the people know, because sometimes there's a bad stigma. It's a bad aurora around you that, well, I don't want to be hanging with him. He all right, but, it's almost like, I put it to you, matter of fact, it's almost like church. Church is almost the same, because everybody go to the popular church. Everybody go to this church and go to that church and all that kind of stuff. And so after a while, if the church kind of like die off a little bit, the membership drop a little bit, the preacher ain't preaching the right sermon a little bit, now we're gonna go to the next church that's so-called hot. So again, the same thing with the you're out of the clique, man, look, I don't want to be fooled with John.
Yeah.
Now, if John be talking that crazy stuff, John, man, hey, man, I'm fool with John. So you out of the clique, because again, you ain't what everybody wants you to do, you ain't what everybody doing at the time.
How much of it would you say, and this is a good conversation actually, how much of that would you say is like some of how you align yourself and who you align yourself with? Because sometimes you can be part of the crowd not because you want it to be, just because, for instance, you, me, whatever, for what we do. Somebody might say, okay, well, the mayor came on your platform. Somebody say, well, Kendrick came on your platform, right? Somebody might say, well, this business only came on yours, or this business only came corner. You got the corner, or you got this person. So sometimes it can look like that, but we just lining ourselves right with the right people, right? It's not like we purposely trying to get into something, so we're doing it.
Right.
But then on the flip side, you got people who want to be a part of things, don't know where to go, or don't have those connections. And then you see them kind of complain, or, be a little upset from not being involved in certain things, and they start making their own theories up in there. I think sometimes even not being in in crowd, click crowd, whatever, sometimes it's more so in your head too, because you couldn't get one or two opportunities. Now you feel like it's a blackball against you, but did you really do everything you could do to get the opportunity? Sometimes we don't use our resources. We don't reach out to people that we might know. You might know somebody, right? If I reach out to you, I can get that. For instance, I reach out to Karen Gordon. I say, hey, I need to get this guy on my pod. I'll text y'all two together. So we talk first. But that was our initial contact.
Right, it was initial contact.
I didn't know you, but I had resources though. So I always feel like sometimes you're not in the crowd. You're just not utilizing all your resources as well.
And I kind of go what you're saying, because sometimes as I said earlier, sometimes it's to the point now people are called to come on to the show.
Right,
They're called to come on
right.
to the podcast. And I think the people that call to come on to the podcast, they can already feel how I am. They can see what kind of spirit I have.
Mhm.
They can see what kind of people I like to hang around with. So you would know not to call me. Matter of fact, there was a guy, a friend of mine, I almost called his name. He had invited me one time to put together a party for him. He wanted me to help him put together a party.
Because you got your PhD.
Yeah, because I got the PhD. He wanted me to help him put together a party, right? But the crazy part about it was, this was years ago, and it was a pool party. Want me to help him put together a pool party. And I said, okay, well, what you trying to do? Man, I want to bring the strippers in there. I want to bring I got my boy gonna bring the alcohol. He's gonna bring the crown and this and that. I said, hold on. You want me to help you put together a stripper party at a pool? I thought you knew me. I thought you knew who I was. I ain't with all that. And then when he told me where the place is gonna be at, get what? It's a one-way in, it's a one-way out location. I said, no, man. Look, I thought you knew who I was. I ain't with all that. So now, where I am now, Bobby, to the point where all the different events I do, I'm pretty much known around the city as putting together the health fairs.
Mm-hmm.
So I do an HIV health fair every year. We've been doing this about 25 years. So if you don't know nothing about me, you know I'm gonna do a health fair to make sure people get your HIV test done, your blood pressure checked, your eyes, your teeth checked, all those different body parts gonna get checked. And I also have different vendors to come out from the Housing Authority, from the Augusta Tech, from all the different persons in the area. So you know me by doing that. You don't want to know me by putting together street parties.
Yeah,
That ain't what I'm associating myself with. So now if persons know who I am and what I do, if you want to be the commissioner, want to be the mayor, okay, this is a good platform to be on. This is a good place I want to have my face shown at. This is a good place I want to have my information put out. Because again, I feel safe around this particular guy. I feel safe around this platform. I can't go to a strip party, stuff like that. So my click part will be coming from, I'm gonna click up with the right person.
Right.
I'm gonna click up with the right environment. I'm gonna click up with the right person that what I'm trying to become, this is what I want to become. So I'm gonna click on him. So now when something happen, oh, John Good. Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even about what you click up with, it's about what you don't click up with.
What I don't
sometimes.
click up with.
And that may align you with something to click up with.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I don't see you doing this, and third.
Right.
Let's go. Because sometimes people come to your page or they come to your platform to see what you're about before they get on your platform, which I hope people that's in that field understand that that's a thing. People actually go look at your page and look at your content before they reach out to you.
And that's what I do. When you send me a friend request and somebody send me a friend request, I'm like, I don't know who that is. Let me look at their page and see what they got. And when I see all the wild parties and the alcohols, and I said, no, I ain't finna accept that friend request.
Right.
Because you ain't finna be associated with me, saying I'm come hanging out with you. No, you. Now, if you got all these church videos, these gospel videos, okay, she might be a woman of God, a man of God. I can see what you're talking about. But all that wild stuff,
common interests. That's all. Right. So when we talk about I think because I always make sure anybody that watch a click a part of something, they'll get a little bit of it. But if you watch the whole thing, you understand that conversation with the click town or whatever. Right. Mm-hmm. That's another thing too. Like it's about common interests.
Common interests.
I had to talk with somebody today, and I've been in retail and in management for a while. And I always tell people, like, I was talking to somebody today, and when you said click, the first thing that came to mind was who clicks up. Like in Augusta, we talk about one thing. I understand what you mean, but I always try to compare to. I do comparables to other things, right? So a lot of times at a job force or with barbers, maybe, right? Mm-hmm. Barbers that don't perform well,
right? You
might see them around each other a lot.
Okay.
The reason being because they got something in common. They don't perform well, but not only that, they probably blame the owner, or the head barber that's in that store in that barbershop, right? They got that in common,
right?
And then you got people who are successful. Mm-hmm. They have that in common,
right?
So then once again, when you said the click thing, right? Mm-hmm. People will see people successful.
They see that.
Or have a successful brand, have a successful business, have a successful slogan, social media page, whatever, successful. They get together, right? And then a person that's on the outside that always thinks, well, it's a click. No, people got common interests.
You got common interests.
We never clicked up. It's just that they're successful. Now I'm successful.
Right.
For some odd reason, I don't know how the world works, but when people are successful together, they kind of link up.
Right. Yeah, and the funny thing about, let me say this before I forget. I believe some of the best successful barbers it ain't the ones that can cut the best hair. Mm-mm. It ain't the one that got the biggest shop, all the clientele. some of the best barbers, in my opinion, are the best people person.
That's it.
If you're a people person, you know how to deal with people, you know how to relate to people, you'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Because I know I can say to myself, I don't cut the best hair. Listen, I've been cutting hair for 30 years. I have never cut a perfect haircut yet. I have not cut a perfect haircut. And sometimes when the guys come in the chair and they got the mirror in their hand and they be like, just do that right there, just do that right there, do that right there. I don't see what they see. I don't see none of that. All of them look good to me. Man, just. So in my opinion, there's no perfect haircut. You might look at a picture on the book, a movie person on a movie, ain't no perfect haircut. So again, if I can let you know that what I done is done my best, and I gave you a good conversation, I make you feel good when you come in the building, you're welcome. That's the best haircut the person to
Right,
be. So
right.
if you're a people person, you'll be a great barber.
But a lot of times too, it's about the experience. So
It's about
once
the experience.
again, we talk about this in crowd and things of that nature, right?
Right.
Well, you could not be the most popular barber
Right.
shop.
Right.
My barber right now I go to Antoine. He used to cut at Master Cuts on Lumpkin Road, but he ended up cutting behind his home now.
Right.
He used to cut with Kenny's, and I go to him because of the experience.
Right.
I can go there. I know it ain't gonna be no loud cursing, ain't gonna be
Right.
no fights, no
Ain't gonna
shooting,
be
none
smoking
of that
weed
stuff. It's just a
yeah.
cool vibe.
Right.
He gonna talk to you. He pretty much know you. How your mom doing? How
Right.
your daughter's doing?
Right.
I can get in, get out, go home.
Right.
Right. I like that.
Right.
Once again, it's common interest.
It's common
I'm not
interest.
interested in going nowhere where
Right.
I may have to bring my gun out my car to go inside
Right.
the barbershop.
You don't want to do all that.
I'm trying to get a haircut.
Just get a haircut.
I ain't
go.
trying to protect lives. I
Right.
just want my haircut.
I just want a haircut.
That's it, and go
That's it.
home. So I think when we talk about the in crowd too, that's another thing. And then sometimes with them in crowds, they all have common interests, or you have an out crowd who have a common interest of
Right.
not doing certain things.
Right.
So they look at and they categorize themselves as outcasts.
Mhm.
I always say be mindful, like the tongue is powerful.
Right.
Which is why when people talk about that stuff, I let them talk. That's what they want to do. But I do feel like a lot of times people talk themselves into being outcasts because they keep saying
Right.
it's a crowd somewhere.
Right.
Oh, they this.
Right.
But
Right.
I feel like one thing along the line that people don't talk about is all the hard work people put into to be in these so-called quote unquote crowds. And I don't think the work they put into being a crowd, but y'all categorize these folks as a crowd because of something they were good at.
Right.
And they getting opportunities handed to them
Mm-hmm.
because they doing their due diligence. They members of all these different,
groups and fraternities. Yeah.
But sometimes that's work. I know,
it's work.
it's hard being in 4 or 5 groups. I hate being in one. You ever been in a group thread?
Yeah.
And the phone just keep going off?
Yeah, I'm like, man, I don't know who these folks is.
And that's just one.
Yeah.
Imagine being in 7 groups.
Right. Take me out of that stuff.
If it's 7 groups and there's 7 people in them groups, that's 49 resources you got.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's a lot.
So of course, somebody like that going seeing that they in the in crowd, they are part of so many different things, as opposed to somebody who just sitting back like, oh yeah, I ain't gonna sell my soul. It's not that deep. But I do feel like that's a whole big combo you can have just in Augusta. And just smaller town Augusta.
It's a small town, but
small town.
It's, Augusta funny. Like I say, I love Augusta. Been here. I don't think I'm gonna go nowhere. And even if I hit the lottery, I'm gonna still stay in Augusta.
I love it.
Yeah.
I said the other day, if I had the lottery, I'm not gonna lie, we'll buy a house in Walton Way. Just because I feel like that's the best. But I will walk everywhere.
Yeah.
I'll walk to the store. They would hate me.
I'll be the same.
I'm on a bike. Live a normal life. I ain't got to stress. That's all.
I'm simple.
Stress free.
I don't require much. I don't need much
at all.
I mean, you give me a bologna sandwich, peanut butter and jelly, I'm good. I don't need no big old, all that stuff. I'm simple as easy like Sunday morning. That's just how I am. So I just enjoy where God has got me at this point of my life. I always pray. I pray a lot. And I pray that the Lord let me see certain things. Lord, let me live to see certain things come to pass. And for a long time, I was praying, Lord, let me live to see the day when my kids have kids. I prayed that prayer for years. And that was a time where my kids was little. I said, I want to live to see when my kids have kids. So now I got 2 grandkids. So God answered that prayer. And I was like, okay. And I say, Lord, thank you. And I was doing the same prayer one time. Lord, let me live to see the day when I pay off this property that I have. I prayed that same prayer every day. I went to the bank. One day I was paying on the property, the barbershop, and I went to the bank and I said, well, ma'am, I want to, pay on the shop. She said, okay. So I gave her $75. I gave her $240. And so she said, okay. And she said, well, I said, how much I owe on the property? She said, well, let me see. She said, well, Mr. Milton, you owe $75. I said, $75? What you mean $75? She said, you $75, it'll be yours. I said, all I owe is $75. Because what I was doing, I was paying like every other week. I was every other
Just
week.
paying something.
Just paying some on it. So when she said I owe $75, I said, hold up, I got 75. So when I paid the property off,
That was it.
I remember my prayer. Lord, let me live to see the day when I pay off this property. Let me live to see the day when my kids have kids. So I constantly pray. Me and my wife, on the way out the door, when she going to work, I give her a kiss. I pray, Lord, watch my wife, watch my kids, watch my grandkids. And that's just how I am. I'm just an old-fashioned, easy Sunday morning type guy. I'm going to make sure I put the good Lord first. And that's all I know. And that's why, again, if I'm going to be around somebody, you better have those same values, those same morals. You ain't got to walk around quoting scriptures at me every day. You ain't got to be toting the 10-pound Bible, but you got to be least. I don't want nothing bad vibes around me.
Right.
Give me some positive vibes. Give me some positive energy. And please don't tell me what I can't do. You can tell me anything. Don't tell me what I can't do. I don't care what John, you can't. If you say I can't, now I'm going to prove you wrong. Don't say what I can't do. If it's raining, I'm going to do it. If it's cold, I'm going to do it. Just because you said I can't, I'm going to make sure. And that's how I am, because I believe it. I believe in my faith. I believe in the good Lord that brought me to this point. And if I say we going to do it, when I say we, me and God going to do it, we're going to do it. And that's how I am. I just been a faith-believing person for all these 50 plus years. So why change now?
I like that though. I do like I like that about you. Just in talking to you today, like I can tell, you had a upbringing within the church and you believed in. But I'm curious, when you were younger, like, how did you take into the church when you were younger? I'm asking because like for me, it was hard. I didn't have like my parents didn't go to church per se.
Okay,
So like
okay.
in the household wasn't no church, but they were trying to send me to my grandparents who I probably had a bad experience because he was the pastor.
Right.
So we waking up 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
We're going picking up 4 or 5 members,
Right.
taking to the church, going back home to get ready,
Right.
come back to the church.
Right.
I'm thinking church over is 2 p.m. Oh, we got second service. I'm like, yo, why am I not home?
Right.
Just being transparent.
Right.
And I think it kind of set a bad taste in them. Also, about 8 years old, about 8 years old, I don't think they picked me up again. They just picked my sister up and they just kept leaving me like forever.
Man. Okay.
And I was fine with it.
Right.
But I'm just curious because I hear you talking about it, and I heard you talking about even from a young upbringing.
Mhm.
Most of my life, like even when I moved down here, my grandma tried. It just was like, and I complied.
Right.
I just wasn't chipper. I wasn't happy about it. So I think she knew I was resisting.
Right.
I guess what do you think made you not resist? Like just that whole experience of church and.
I guess probably when we was younger. And for the viewers that's watching, when your mom or your dad said something back in those days, which I said my mom and my grandmama, that was stone, that was in stone, that was gold, that was you take it to the bank. So if we going to church, ain't no resistance, ain't no backlash. If it is, you're gonna see the flashlight. You ever seen the flashlight?
No, what's that?
You haven't seen the flashlight? The flashlight, when you get slapped so hard across your face, you see a light flash. That's the flashlight. So if you want to see the flashlight, or you don't want to see the flashlight, do what they tell you to do. And I saw a couple of flashlights in my days. and look, when my mama say something, I don't want to see the flashlight. So got to the point where we was in church so much. As you say, we was in Sunday school, children's church, Bible study, vacation Bible school, all different programs. Now also, there was a time when I was inspired to be a preacher. I aspired to be a preacher because my church back home, we had it where on the 5th Sunday, the young people took over the service. So whatever 5th Sunday come up, no matter what, somebody in the church gonna be doing something. We was ushering, we was passing out program, we were doing something, but the young people did the whole service.
Right.
So there was one particular time when the 5th Sunday was coming up, I checked the calendar, and I actually her name was Tony Tukes. I said, Miss Tony, I want to do the 5th Sunday, I want to be the speaker for the next 5th Sunday. She said, all right. Again, I don't know if she took me serious or not, but she said, you for real? I said, yeah, I want to be the speaker for the next 5th Sunday. So when that 5th Sunday was coming around, I said, okay, now I'm gonna be the speaker. When pretty much you're gonna be speaking and preaching that particular Sunday. And I got with this guy named Michael James back home. He was a young up and coming preacher back home, and me and him started working on my sermon. Told me how to pray, told me how to preach, gave me the whole A's and B's of how to get in front of a crowd and speak and get your word across. And it was amazing time because the way he molded me
Mm-hmm.
to preach, to speak, to pray, and all that. And I can attribute all that to where I am now. Because if you can get me in front of a crowd of 1 billion people, I don't see but one person out there. I don't have a stage fright. I don't have I can't do it type stuff. It's come natural to me because, again, a lot of the different events I do around town, give me the microphone, I'm a different person. I'm ready to
Mm-hmm.
have fun. Let's do it. So again, when I wanted to get into that preaching role back home, I just saw myself preaching, and I think what messed me up from the preaching, continually doing it when I came to Augusta, you know what messed me up?
The girls.
The 10-1.
Hey, all roads lead to 10-1.
All the
man.
roads lead to 10-1. So that, thank God I still got the values, I still got the morals, everything going on. And I definitely know from right from wrong. I just know it. Even down to my kids, they know, listen, this ain't what we do in this house. And I tell my kids right now, wherever you go, you can be in New York, you can be in wherever you go, you're a Milton. You are a Milton. So I don't care what nobody say, you better be a Milton. So when I say you better be a Milton, because now, watch this now, some of my family back home are not what I call Miltons. And when I say that, because some of them wild, crazy, do stuff, but they're Miltons.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't want to be cliquish with those Miltons because sometimes, you got the distant, when I say Milton, I'm talking about the distant cousins,
Right,
the distant way down the line. Somebody might do something crazy, be like, no, that's the Miltons over there acting up. That's the Miltons. So I said, okay, we're going to be Miltons, but we ain't going to be associated with fighting and shooting and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a Milton. So when I tell my kids now, you're a Milton. No matter where you at, you better be a Milton. And they know what that means when I say that. So if you ask my kids now, I got 3 kids, 20, 27, 25, and 21. If you ask any one of my kids, what does it mean to be a Milton? You know what they'll tell you? They'll tell you I can do anything. And I told them that when they was years old. So if you ask my kids what does it mean to be a Milton, they'll tell you I can do anything. And I kept that in their mind and their psyche for years, and they still say it now. And now my son is telling my grandkids that.
I like that.
You're a Milton. And I tell my grandson, I can do anything. So just that whole growing up experience, I just embrace it all, and who I am is who I am. I can't be Steve. I can't be nobody but John.
I'm gonna close with a few questions. I want to
Okay.
ask a couple just about the family part because I know we talk about you a lot, but I do know you got the values of family values. The first one I'm gonna ask is kind of if you can or if you don't mind,
Okay.
explain like what she has brought to your life. B, describe like your wife and the relationship y'all have.
Okay. My wife has brought a lot to my life, from boyfriend, girlfriend at Payne College. She taught me to just chill out, you know, just be your best, put your best foot forward. Again, she's coming from another little small town,
Mm-hmm.
and my little small town values connect with her small town values. And again, like we say, 30 years later, we still together. So what she's brought to my life is she has a lot of strong points that I don't have.
Mm.
She's the best uh, person when it comes to finances. The best person when it comes to just the everyday management of the world, of the house, even the job that she has. So she's had a high position in that field that she works in. So now the person I am, I'm the go-getter. I'm the
Mm-hmm.
one that's out. I'm the one that's moving. I'm the one that's grooving. So sometimes she be like, all right, now calm down. Hold on, we'll do all that later. I'm like, come on, baby, come on, baby. No, so she's the one that kind of keep everybody grounded. She's the one everybody, get the advice from, make sure you don't go too far off the path and all that
Right,
kind of
right.
stuff. So I'm the what is it? Introvert, extrovert, whatever, however they put
Yeah.
that. So I'm the one that's always out. 1,000 people know me, everybody know me. She's kind of a little more secluded, kind of way back in the shadow sometime, but that works good together before
Right,
where
right.
we are. Because again, if both of us is all out and about and all loud and yelling, we ain't getting nowhere. Nobody hurt nobody. So a lot of time when I get home, I say, well, baby, say, calm down. You're gonna be all right. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
compliment each other very
yeah,
well.
compliment each
Yeah.
other real well, and it works good like that because again, she has that calm spirit. I have a calm spirit, but sometimes she can be a bulldog. If it's too much, she like, hey, we ain't gonna do all that. So it works good together, and I will say I wouldn't even be nowhere where I am now without her. Again, we're working on 30 years of being married.
Yeah, clap it up for that.
30 years of being married to the point where you see people now stay together 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Some of them not even 3 days.
Yeah, I say 3 months, 3 days is
Yeah,
kind of hard these
so
days. So
we're working on 30 years of marriage. We don't seen a lot. We done been through a lot, and I mean anybody can say it's been some good days and been some bad days, but hey, I won't take nothing for.
what about like and I was curious about this question earlier. I wanted to make sure we got everything out the way though. Um you didn't have a father,
Mhm.
so to speak, or a dad, present dad rather. So like was it hard or how did you how did you learn how to become a dad or learn to be a dad?
Oh man, that's a good one.
I try,
My
man. I really do be trying.
my brother-in-law, Dennis. Dennis kind of always, he didn't know that, but he always showed me some stuff that I was paying attention to. And the crazy part about it with him is um, my first son, John, we call him Jay, when my wife was pregnant with him, I used to always talk with him. I said, man, Angeline gonna have a baby in, such and such, few months, few weeks, whatever. I say, what I do? What's going on? He said, man, you're gonna figure it out. God gonna give you some good directions, some good thoughts, whatever you need to do. So don't worry about it. You're gonna be just fine. And I was like, man, but I'm saying, tell me something more than that. He said, John, you're gonna be fine. I'm gonna be praying for you. I got your back, whatever you need. And again, watching him with his family, with his two daughters and the kids he had, I mean, I didn't see nothing out of place. Everything was taken care of. He was a man of the house. He took care of everything, grass cut. I mean, all the little tangibles. He did all that kind of stuff. So I was always watching him. And so I never forget when my wife had the baby. When she had my son, you know how back then the mom stayed at the hospital for a few days
Hmm.
with the baby, all that kind of stuff. So when I was going to the hospital to visit my wife, the nurses kept coming in, checking the baby, checking my wife, all that kind of stuff. And everything my wife needed, everything the baby needed, the nurses was doing it, changing the baby, doing all that kind of stuff. So then they said, well, she'll be able to go home tomorrow. I said, all right. So I called Dennis. I said, well, listen, they say we can come home tomorrow with the baby. What I need to do now? He said, man, just it'll come naturally to you. So I said, well, do we tell the nurse to come home with us? I was like, I said, are the nurses coming home too? They gonna come out the house and check on us and make sure the baby got milk and all that? He said, no, when the baby go home, the baby's on you. You have to take care of the baby. I said, well, they've been doing it all this time in the hospital. Can they come by the house? He's like, no, man. So going back to the question, I was always watching other people. I was even down to the TV shows. I mean, the Cosby shows, all those type things I was watching, kind of putting it in my own mind. So the point where when I do get to be a father, I'm gonna know what not to do, what to do. Again, as I told you, I was always going to the school. I wasn't the best homework person. That my wife, that was her strong point. But whatever I can do to help out,
Mhm.
whatever I can do. I mean, take the kids out there and play in the yard with them, just to show them to play with you. Throw the ball, whatever. There was a time where my two boys, I used to pick them up from the daycare every Monday. Every Monday, Bob. Every Monday when I get them from the daycare, you know where we always go to?
What's that?
Chuck E. Cheese. Every Monday. And when I pick them up, and they was like 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it was, every Monday for years, I would take them to Chuck E. Cheese. And when I go pick them up, you know what they say? Daddy, we going to Chuck E. Cheese? Going to Chuck E. Cheese. Let's go to Chuck E. Cheese. And back then, they was doing the tokens.
Yeah,
Get the little
yeah.
tokens, put my money in there, get all these cup full of tokens and get the pizza. And it was to the point where the people knew we was coming. Yep, that's the Milton table. Chuck E. Cheese, pizza, and we'll be in there all day to turn night. Every Monday, me and my two boys go to Chuck E. Cheese. And that was the highlight of their life, and it was definitely a highlight of mine because, we in there playing the games and eating pizza, and then when my wife get out of work, they don't got food and go to sleep.
Hmm.
But they knew we gonna go to Chuck E. Cheese and have fun and stuff like that. So I wasn't always on certain things. That was some of that stuff my wife do, some stuff I do, but we come together and make it work. So
I like that.
they always know we're going to Chuck E. Cheese every Monday.
No, I think that's amazing. That's good. It's always good to have some kind of normalcy or some kind of like something you do. You know,
Right.
like I said, we don't. Maybe not everybody not rich. You can't just always go to Disney World every day, but Chuck E. Cheese, something small but it's meaningful. You know, seems small but it's meaningful, and it stay with them. You know,
they remember that to this day.
I would imagine Chuck E. Cheese, especially back in the day, like that's like the thing.
Yeah.
Even today.
Yeah, even today. Yeah.
And then for Barbershop Talk Live, like, do you have any? I be hating this question, but I'm gonna ask it.
Okay.
Do you have any like guests that you just wish that you would want to talk to? Like, it's somebody you like, I wish they would come on and talk, or a dream guest, or a dream interview, or what would be your ideal interview?
Oh man, that's a good question because some of the people that came on throughout the time, I didn't think would. I remember the first time that I invited Sheriff Roundtree. The very first time I invited him, and at the time, Roundtree was the sheriff, and I said, well, at the time, I said, I'm gonna ask him to see if he come on, and if he accepted, cool. So when he accepted, I told the guys at the barbershop, I said, hey, look, next week I got the sheriff coming on. Sheriff, what you talking about? What sheriff? I said, Sheriff Roundtree, Rich Roundtree, gonna come on the show. He said, man, sit down. You ain't got no sheriff. I said, I'm telling you, the man say he coming, and I don't think he gonna lie to me. So he coming on the show, we're gonna talk about, whatever. So I never forget the day he said he was coming on that Wednesday. He was late. He was late getting there, probably 5-10 minutes late, whatever it was. So what happened when he I was in the shop telling everybody, and all the guys stayed there just to see when he come. I say, man, he said he coming. Man, sheriff ain't coming. Wait, man, you said such and such time in here. And I kept thinking to myself, I said, I hope this man ain't lied to me. Because he's going to make me look bad.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, black SUV pulled up in the parking lot. And like, that might be him. I don't know. So naturally, that was him. He got out. We had a good conversation. It went good. It went well. So now, for as the guest that I want to get, I don't know. I don't know the guests I want to get because naturally you want to get the sheriff, the mayor, the presidents, all these type of folks. And I've been fortunate enough, God bless me, to have those type of person to come on. And I try to make it where whoever the person is, whatever their status is, whatever their job title is, you all the same to me.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, no big person, no little person, everybody the same because sometimes I have people coming on that don't have the status.
Yeah.
Somebody come on that don't have the big position. Because when you sit in that chair, the lights and cameras go on, you to me like the only person in the world. Yeah. And I give you that respect.
Whether you're in the click or not.
Well, you're in the click or not. It doesn't. Click don't matter. Because again, I want because you took the time out to come on my show. I feel that be like, okay, if you come on my show and we have a conversation, I'm gonna give you all I can give you. So I don't really have a preference. And again, if it's, let's say Obama come on, let's say whoever come on, you just like the rest of them to me. Everybody deserve that same respect. Mm-hmm. Everybody deserve that same time. And I'm gonna give it to you all I can, and I hope that person give it back to me the same way. And I also make sure the viewers get a good show. The viewers get a good product. The viewers get a good to the point where I can watch this show all the time. I can tune in what he's got, no matter who the guest is. Naturally, if there's a certain guest, I want to hear and see it. But the type of product that he puts out, this is a good show to watch.
Yeah.
So that's why I try to make sure everybody is somebody, no matter what the status are.
I know we're in the same field, so I can't speak for you. I know with me, I would say I'm very, very similar in my guest pick and all that stuff. Like I like, of course you want some guests that got status and stature because that kind of gives your platform a stamp.
Be your brand,
But at the same time, I do feel like some of my favorite episodes aren't my biggest names.
Right.
It's people I just learned from.
Right.
And I'm like, I like that. People need more of this, you know, but because they might not be in a click crowd, they're not going to get clicked on. It's like they might pass by that episode, which is why I always think I always just put clips out as I go along. So when I had Gina on, and the next week or so, I just put all my old clips on my story and stuff. So as you want to see the Gino clip, you're gonna see 27 clips before that Gino one.
Right.
So this way you know, like, okay, well, he been
Right.
doing this for a long. Oh, you had this person on?
Right.
Or I had Bontigo Cummins on. They're like, oh, you
Right.
had Bontigo on?
Right.
And I had my job send me this long message like, yo, you have. Then they mentioning people and give me numbers, and I'm pretty sure like you, like now to the point where you don't have to necessarily look for guests. You have a guest on.
Right.
Off that guest alone, off that nice show, that good piece of content you put out, people are like, hey, you should do such and such now. I want to see this person in your setting.
Right.
And I think like, that's a good feeling to me, you know.
And you know let me say this: when you say I had a person named Patricia Poland, one of my customers at the shop, and when she came on, what happened? We was in the shop talking. I was cutting her hair, and I said, Patricia, I want you to be one of my guests to come on. She said, what we gonna talk about? I said, I don't know. We're gonna talk about whatever. So I already knew that what she does, she's a full-time caregiver. Her mom is sick. Her mom, you know, she's a real bad diabetic. She go to the hospital a lot. So she's full-time taking care of mom. So when she came on, we started getting all into the caregiver world. The caregiver world is, first of all, to be a caregiver, you got to be trustworthy. You got to be compassionate, and you got to be willing to do that particular role. So when we got into that conversation about being a caregiver, it got so emotional that, I mean, she got teared up and got emotional because, again, she didn't know what we was going to talk about.
Right.
So now we got viewers watching to understand the world of a caregiver. The world of a caregiver is, if I'm going to be the caregiver over you, you got to trust me over your finances. You got to trust me to make sure I give you the right medicine. You got to trust me to make sure I feed you on time. So all of that, now you got people calling in and saying, well, I'm a caregiver too. I didn't know that I was dealing with it the same as you dealing with it. So when those persons come on that don't have the cliquish status, don't have the titles, those sometimes be the best shows because now you really get into those conversations that you don't really get a chance to get to and really understand how those persons are living. Again, being a caregiver is a lot.
I know.
There's a lot. And also some of the shows where some of the doctors come on, teaching about your health.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you go to the doctor, you don't get the whole experience. They got the rush
in and
rush
out.
out.
Yeah, it's a business.
Yeah, right. So now when you get a person coming on telling you about how to eat right, how to drink right, how to exercise right, all that, I mean, sometimes I've had people come on that's demonstrating stuff. So it's a lot that goes into those so-called not big-time guests, but those be the most important shows that you see.
It's all about, I feel like, when I know with me, I'm all about impact. So sometimes it's not about the view count per se.
Right.
Because I can have, like you said, 2,000 people can watch something, 4,000 people can watch something, and you don't really get a feedback per se. They just watched it, tuned in because of the name, right?
Right.
But you can have 800 people watch something and 20 people hit you up. I'm going to take that every day because I like impact. I like knowing that something I put out affected somebody there enough to reach out to me or enough to interact with me or enough to send somebody else my way saying, that was so good. I want to see you do with this person. I want to see this person on. So I think that's something I always tell content creators to think about as well. Get the name, but also the content, the conversation. And like you said, with somebody who don't have a big name, I think the best thing about those, they don't come with no, they don't come trying to project anything. They just being themselves. It's organic. It's just true to self.
Right.
And sometimes those are just the best conversations, opposed to somebody who can't answer certain questions, or they gotta, swing you this way or swing you that way. I love talking to politicians because I can tell them, I'm like, hey, look, you didn't answer my question. I just bring it back. Let's answer the question. Or dumb it down for me, please. So I like to do that because when politicians, they had to, and I understand it. So it's entertainment, but the ones you can sit down, talk with, and just feel organic, and really feel like you just in a barbershop cutting that person's hair.
Great conversation. Great. And yesterday I had a guest come on the show yesterday, and she was talking about divorce.
Yeah.
Going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And she got so down into the conversation. And I told her, I said, well, you probably had got a divorce because you couldn't keep your mouth closed. The guy was trying to tell you something, you running your mouth, and that probably led to the divorce. She said, well, I don't know. I said, you're a big mouth. And that was a good show because she got into the communication part that was slacking. She got into the different parts of a relationship, and she probably wouldn't have been open to anybody, but she got so comfortable in the conversation, and that she admitted to her shortcomings in the relationship. She admitted to stuff she could have did better in the relationship, and now that she's by herself, it's her raising the 2 kids. So it was a great conversation to, again, she ain't all in the cliquish, but just that type of conversation, people need to hear that. People need to understand what this could lead to a divorce. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be down that road because now I might be by myself based on what she's saying. So those type of conversations is the best ones to have. I
Nah, I
love those
definitely agree,
conversations.
man. I agree. And like, look, man, I definitely appreciate the time you gave me, man. Clap it up for you, man.
Oh man,
This is a great experience.
that's great.
I like talking to other, people that do podcasts and stuff,
Right.
just knowing how to answer the question, knowing how
Okay.
to, facilitate through the conversation. I learned a lot about you. I know people gonna learn a lot about you.
Cool.
I think this is dope though. Like you definitely amazing guest, and like I said, I'll come on your show whenever you get an opening.
Cool.
Tell them where they can find you at on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Just give me your social media and things like
Okay.
that.
All right. Yeah. Again, my name is John D. Milton. You can find me on the Facebook page. Again, that's John D. Milton. You can also come to the barbershop, which is Jay's Place Barbershop at 1927 Olive
Olive
Road.
Road.
Barbershop Talk Live is my podcast. I love it. I love it. I love it. Call your friend, call your neighbor, call your church members, call your enemies to tune in to Barbershop Talk Live each and every Wednesday, 6 o'clock on Facebook and also on YouTube.
All right,
I
man.
love it.
Appreciate you, man. Morning Master Podcast. Be out. Thank you again, man. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up. Clap it up.